How's it, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through the expected stats of all the different players from all the different games. So we'll start off here with Liverpool versus Bournemouth. And how we're going to do it is we're going to give the players who are basically most relevant and most owned by people in FPL. From this game, something to pick up is Salah wasn't amazing. Didn't have too good stats. 0.37 expected goal involvements. Um, Probably a bit lucky to get that goal at the end. We all were, because I think most of us would have had him captained. Um, and yeah, maybe a bit unlucky if you took the risk and went for Haaland. Ekitike, his stats kind of back up what we've been seeing. All the play going through the middle, with him and Florian Wirtz linking up really well. 0.14 expected goals. Wirtz, I'm not too worried about. I think he will get better and better. The different players will flow better and better. Um, and he'll transition into more attacking positions in the next 5 game weeks. Next two are really difficult with Newcastle and Arsenal, but I'll definitely hold them past that with Burnley coming up. Gakpo played really well. Expected assist 0.44. This was the highest expected assists in the entire weekend from any player. So if you went with Gakpo, he's looking quite good. Um, I wouldn't. I'd be a bit worried bringing in these guys. Isaac is going to come at some point. It's probably about 85% chance. So when he does come, if you have them, great. If he does come, it's probably going to be some rotation. Ekitike, Gakpo probably sharing minutes on that left hand side. And then Ekitike probably moving to number 9 for parts of the game. Semenyo had a great game. I think the state of play started to suit him at the end. It became very open, counter-attacking football, which he's really good at. We'll have to see how he goes when it's teams that are a bit more even, where the possession is a bit more shared and there's no fast breaks. I'm not actually sure how Bournemouth's fixtures are coming up, but he's not really someone I'm looking at for now. If we look at Aston Villa versus Newcastle, this was quite an interesting game. I don't think we saw it going this way. I think we always forget how good Newcastle are. They are very, very solid. This midfield, they're so difficult to play against. They're difficult to play against. They're difficult to score against. It's really not a team you want to come up against. That's why I'm a bit worried about Liverpool. I have Wirtz and Salah. I'm not going to captain Salah this week. I'm going to look for a different captaincy. That captaincy I'm most likely going to go with is actually in this team, while playing against Newcastle and Ollie Watkins. So he didn't have a great game, but I basically tie that up to, or put that down to playing against Newcastle. Extremely difficult fixture. It's not something you want to do first game of the season. They play Brentford next week. Brentford were absolutely terrible. We'll go through their stats now, but they had a very high expected XG. I watched that game and they were just so open. So I think it's definitely a game that Villa can find some form, find some flow. Watkins is going to be up there. And it's definitely a game where they can find their form. So he's definitely a captain's shot, and do not sell him this game week. I would definitely wouldn't do that with Villa's fixtures coming up, especially the next one. Um, Gordon and Alanga. Alanga was looking really good. I liked him a lot. He stood out quite a bit when I was watching the game. Um, New signing for a lot of money. I don't see him getting rotated. There's definitely going to be a number 9 that joins Newcastle sometime soon. So I don't know how long Gordon is going to be playing that number 9 role. And you could see they were missing number 9. Um, there were lots of chances where you needed a proper target man in the centre, lots of crosses that Gordon just isn't the guy who's going to get his head to it and score those goals. The runs, like sometimes there was just no end run. The ball was put into a drag back, put into a nice position in the box, and no one was making that run because no one's a profession go to number 9. So, whoever does join, if it is Visa, which is looking quite likely, I mean, Visa isn't even playing for Brentford now because he says he wants to leave. He's basically pulling an Isaac out of the way. So, if Visa joins this Newcastle team, Newcastle have great fixtures after Liverpool. I would I would definitely go there. I'd almost think he's a necessity. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind when Visa, whoever the number 9 is, does join. This game was a bit interesting. As you can see, the expected goals, only 0.68 expected goals for Sunderland, and they ended up scoring 3 goals. So that's something to take into account. If you have a Diouf, um, he was looking really good. I see I don't have his stats here, but he was looking good. I watched the game, and there was a lot of crosses, a few shots as well. It was actually difficult to watch without having him in your team. Um, and this shows that they weren't that bad. Maybe a bit unlucky to concede 3, and the same said Sunderland probably a bit lucky to score 3. It does make me a bit more confident with my Ronaldo pick, 4.0 defender. I'm very glad I went with him above Steph from Burnley. I think Sunderland, because I felt like with the signings they make, they're going to be a much more, not dominant team, but they'll be able to play better football. And if you can play better football, you can attack well, keep a decent amount of possession, you're very likely to concede less goals. Where Burnley, I don't think they have much about them going forward. I don't think they have enough quality in attack, in midfield. They're literally all they have is defence to them. I think they're going to concede a lot more than a team like Sunderland. So that's why I went with Ronaldo. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to start him the next game against Burnley, ahead of some of my other assets, Van der Ven. Next game is Spurs versus Burnley. So this game here, Spurs scored 3 goals and expected 2.32. So not too far off. I'd say Spurs, I'm not convinced about their attack. I like their defense, even though maybe they're a bit lucky not to concede. I had Van der Ven, and he got me a clean sheet. You can see 0.59 is something I wanted to bring up. Expected goals for Van der Ven. It's very high. It's something that Spurs' set pieces are looking very threatening. I saw it in the final against PSG. So I think the centre backs from Spurs are very good value, especially Van der Ven. Porro 0.26 expected assists, not too bad. I think these numbers are inflated a bit with how bad Burnley were, because I don't think the Spurs attack is going to be free flowing from the start. I think they're going to take a bit of time to get up there. I'll expect from Spurs quite a few 0-0 draws or 1-0 wins. So yeah, not bad for defense. I wouldn't really be too confident getting a tackle from them. It does make me a bit more confident with my Ronaldo pick, 4.0 defender. I'm very glad I went with him above Steph from Burnley. I think Sunderland, because I felt like with the signings they make, they're going to be a much more, not dominant team, but they'll be able to play better football. And if you can play better football, you can attack well, keep a decent amount of possession, you're very likely to concede less goals. Where Burnley, I don't think they have much about them going forward. I don't think they have enough quality in attack, in midfield. They're literally all they have is defence to them. I think they're going to concede a lot more than a team like Sunderland. So that's why I went with Ronaldo. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to start him the next game against Burnley, ahead of some of my other assets, Van der Ven. Next game is Spurs versus Burnley. So this game here, Spurs scored 3 goals and expected 2.32. So not too far off. I'd say Spurs, I'm not convinced about their attack. I like their defense, even though maybe they're a bit lucky not to concede. I had Van der Ven, and he got me a clean sheet. You can see 0.59 is something I wanted to bring up. Expected goals for Van der Ven. It's very high. It's something that Spurs' set pieces are looking very threatening. I saw it in the final against PSG. So I think the centre backs from Spurs are very good value, especially Van der Ven. Porro 0.26 expected assists, not too bad. I think these numbers are inflated a bit with how bad Burnley were, because I don't think the Spurs attack is going to be free flowing from the start. I think they're going to take a bit of time to get up there. I'll expect from Spurs quite a few 0-0 draws or 1-0 wins. So yeah, not bad for defense. I wouldn't really be too confident getting a tackle from them. Wolves versus Man City was a very interesting game. City were incredible. I watched it and they were just looking so good. I'm a Liverpool fan and I hated seeing them looking this good. Looks like they made some good signings. A big worry for them was the amount of creativity they had in their team, which was lacking a lot. Reinders looks insane. He looks. I'm saying if he's another Gundogan, we'll be really lucky for FPL. I think he's going to be even better. This guy looks so good. Defense, I'm very happy I went with Nori. City were looking quite solid. As you see, only a 0.56 expected goals, which was really good. His attacking data wasn't incredible, which I was actually quite surprised about. When I was watching, he wasn't picking up too much attacking roles. So it's definitely something to look at because if he's not getting those, he can definitely be a switch to an Arsenal defender when their fixtures get better. Maybe Gabriel, but yeah, 9 points from him. He got the defensive contributions as well. In attack, I think the only guy we can go for is Haaland. Everyone else is way too rotation risk, except Rangers, obviously. But yeah, Haaland 1.99 expected goals, absolutely insane. I wish I had him in my team, and I think he's going to be like this against everyone he comes up against. Um, the attack around him is going to rotate, it's going to chop and change, but there's a lot of creativity there. I think his goal output is going to be really good this season. Strand Larson, when I was watching, it didn't seem like he got that many good involvements, but 0.38 expected goals, that's not too bad, especially against the City team who are dominating the game. So he's someone that, against the lesser teams, he could be quite a good option. So if I'm a Strand Larson holder, I wouldn't be too worried from what I saw. Yeah, I'd actually be a bit hopeful. Next game, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. This was a 0-0 draw, if I'm correct. Yeah, 0-0 draw. This seems like Chelsea were a bit unlucky not to score 1.81 expected goals. I was actually a bit surprised to see that because they did not look that great. If I look at their possession stats here, okay, Chelsea had a lot more of the ball, 72%. 19 shots to Palace's 11. I saw it as quite an even game. Um, I think both teams because very easily scored. I mean, Eze did score and it was ruled out. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't take too much from it. I think Palace are a very underrated defense. They're very difficult to play against. We saw it when Liverpool played against them in the Community Shield. Salah really struggled against this team. So yeah, Chelsea didn't look good. Problem with Palmer, he was playing the left attacking mid role, which really doesn't suit him. He's better playing the right, and he can come in on his left foot, take some really good shots, get some goals through that, better assists. So yeah, hopefully Maresca does change up those tactics, change his formation a bit, or else Palmer really wouldn't be an option. That's where he played the whole of last season, or back end of last season. He played that left attacking mid role, and it really he had like 16 games where he didn't score a goal. So yeah, if he is going to play there regularly, I think we have to take him out of our team. João Pedro, he got taken off at 72 minutes for Delap, and that's something that is going to be a regular occurrence. So yeah, something to watch. Even could be a benching coming at some point. I don't see it happening anytime soon now because I don't think Delap played particularly well, but it's always a risk. Okay, guys. So the last two games we're going to go through is Forest versus Brentford and Arsenal versus United. So starting with Forest versus Brentford, this game was a lot further apart than the expected data says. Um, Brentford had a penalty, which does inflate those numbers a bit, as well as Thiago's 0.92 expected goals. They weren't as good as that shows. Forest, on the other hand, did look very good, very creative, which I was surprised. I thought with Elanga going to Newcastle, they would be lacking a bit, but they were looking really good. Anderson wasn't struggling getting on the ball. They were all linking up very well. He looks like someone who is very good at 5.5 million. 0.67 expected goal involvements. He's not going to get that every week because this Brentford team was very open and very easy to play against. They allowed a lot of space for this Forest team to operate in. But that is very encouraging, and it does open another cheap asset that we could use to maybe get in a few of the bigger guys. Potentially a Salah and Haaland draft could even be on the cards, with Reinders looking like a brilliant option as well as Anderson. And I think if we wait another few weeks, then a few more guys would come up and we could really build a strong Salah Haaland draft if needed to be. Last game that we're going to look at today is United versus Arsenal. I watched this game and I thought United looked very, very good. And Arsenal, not so much. The expected data is actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. From watching the game, the eye test, United looked like they were all over Arsenal. It looked like it was all United. I know they did keep a lot more possession in this game than Arsenal, which is actually very rare for someone to keep a lot more possession than Arsenal. Dorgu, these are the average positions I'll put the United players in. Dorgu is basically playing a left wing. I do expect this to change slightly when Sesko comes into the team. Cunha probably won't be on the left wing, but he would be operating in that kind of space just ahead of where Mount was there. So it might allow Dorgu to still have some space on that to operate and fly down that left-hand channel, maybe stick a bit more wider. But yeah, it looks like he likes a shot at goal. He's someone who could very easily be an option at that cheap price. Someone to look at. So yeah, thanks guys. This is the end of today's video. We will be posting a team selection later in the week, probably Thursday afternoon, evening. So yeah, see you guys next time.